Hello everybody, my name is Ryan or MandRproductions, and today we're taking a look at a LEGO Star Wars Summer 2018 set that was released on August 1st, 2018. It's the 75214 Anakin's Jedi Starfighter with 247 pieces, 2 minifigures being R2-D2 and Anakin Skywalker, which we'll take a look at momentarily, and it retails for $20 in the United States, which is more than fair for 247 pieces if you're looking at it purely on price per piece, and we will also compare that to the original version of this ship, which came out in 2008, which also cost $20. So I think you're getting a great value here, just kind of off the bat based on what we've had in the past. Anyway, when I first saw the pictures of this set, I kind of assumed it would be a $25 or $30 set, and I was more than happy to find out it was 20 bucks. So that is an incredible deal for what so far in my first initial impressions over the first day I've had this thing is a pretty cool set. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the R2-D2 and Anakin Skywalker minifigures. So up first here, we have the Anakin Skywalker minifigure. Of course, this is based off the Clone Wars. I would like to venture to say that it is based off of the new Clone Wars episodes and not quite the old ones, although I'm not sure. It does address one major complaint of the older Clone Wars style figures, though, and that is these big googly eyes that a lot of people didn't like. I kind of liked them. There was something charming about it, but LEGO did do away with it, so that's a thing. The hairpiece, I believe, is slightly different. Is it the same hairpiece? I can't tell. It looks different. Maybe it's the same. I think it's the same hairpiece, yeah. Just taking a look here. It just looks different on the different head to me. But yeah, blue lightsaber, same hairpiece, new face print, which is very nice. Underneath, you'll find the second face on the backside. He is, of course, wearing the little headset communications system so he can talk to other people in his Starfighter. He's got a very simple torso print, very similar to the old one, but again, not quite the same, very much updated. And it's got leg printing, nice belt print on it as well. So a very nice figure overall, and a nice addition to your new Clone Wars minifigure collection. Up next, we have R2-D2, and this is a pretty standard R2-D2 for today, but compared to the version that we got in the 2008 model, which we'll be taking a look at later, it's a huge upgrade. So there you go. Just to kind of look on the surface there, huge upgrade as far as 10 years ago now. I'm sure you've got another R2-D2 minifigure in a more recent set that looks a lot more similar to this, but just taking a look at that kind of on its own, it's pretty crazy. No back print, unfortunately, still on this one, but he does have very nice legs. Of course, the typical LEGO droid legs that have been around for 2 decades now. And then we have the regular head print on there on a very nice dark gray dome piece. And a very nice torso print there with all the little regular details that we see on R2-D2 nowadays. So a very solid figure, nice inclusion in the set, and a cheap way to get R2-D2 if for some reason you've never gotten him in a LEGO Star Wars set. Nothing wrong with the inclusion, but nothing super special about it either. I'm not too sure if this has anything to do with it, but this set possibly could have something to do with the return of the Clone Wars coming out next year, so LEGO kind of ramping up their production of Clone Wars sets here in 2018 as we prepare for 2019 with the return of the Clone Wars TV show. Again, not sure, but we're totally going to see more Clone Wars sets in the future, and this is a nice step in that direction. Alright, and here we have the actual Anakin's Jedi Starfighter. Again, this thing, 247 pieces for 20 bucks. I mean, that is an incredible deal by today's standards, in my opinion. Anyway, it's a simple design. It's a very sturdy design. The wings do not fold up and down at all. They are stuck on there with Technic bits on the bottom there. Very strong connections. That's going to work very well in the favor of people trying to play with this thing. Really do like that. You have the yellow stripe running up the middle into some stickers here on top of the tiles and bricks here. So you work in some very nice stickers there with some pretty solid details, in my opinion. On the right wing, you have the Republic insignia. That is not printed. That is a sticker, unfortunately, in the past. That would have been printed. Now it's a sticker. That's another thing that LEGO does to cut costs. Around the back here, you'll find more stickers, including another little Republic insignia. It's going to be the same on the flip side of the fin there. So it's a very nice fin. It's a very sturdy fin. You can actually hold the whole ship just by the fin there, which is pretty crazy. So they've really made a very sturdy design here, and that's what I like, just looking around the exterior of the ship. The cockpit, again, does look a little bit high, kind of similar to the 2017 Obi-Wan Starfighter from Episode 2, but I think it's something I can deal with. Something I can't really deal with is that there's a hole. There's just holes in the bottom of the cockpit. Like, that's a little bit ridiculous. It's a little crazy that it looks like that. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not something I'm totally going to notice all the time, but it's just something I noticed in my initial impressions on this thing, and it's a little bit disappointing to see giant holes in the bottom of the cockpit of something that's really supposed to be completely sealed off, because Anakin is literally in space, so he is supposed to be breathing air, not a vacuum, which would happen if there's holes in the bottom of your cockpit. Anyway, you'll notice on the underside we have both engines, which are pretty solid designs. I like the black color on that, and they have the trans green pieces on the back there. There's only one piece of landing gear. It's in the front there, and it can like fold up if you want it to. So while only having one piece of landing gear on the bottom may look fine, it creates a very unsturdy position for this ship, unfortunately, because you basically don't have anything to stop it from going left or right if it gets touched. And it's very, like, it doesn't take a lot to get this thing to turn over, which is really sad. That's just one part of the design that I don't like compared to the older one, which, again, we're going to take a look at momentarily. But this one does tend to fall over very, very easily. Like, it doesn't take a lot at all to get it rocking and to fall over. So that's just something I noticed as well. Looking back to the cockpit, however, you'll find that Anakin can fit in there very easily. You just put him in this little seated position with his microphone on, and he can drop in there with that very nice little printed control panel there. I really like that, and then I even think they did a good job like adding what is essentially a little headrest in the back there. The canopy can close very simply like that. It's a very smooth canopy there. It's on the Technic hinges, or the clips rather, and works very, very well. Closes very nice and snug to the body of the ship. Really like the way that works. As far as R2-D2 goes, you can, of course, fit him right into the front of the ship in that little hole there. He's going to fit in right there very nicely. So essentially you see the one stud there. That's where this piece is going to line up. And you're going to want to turn his head just because it looks cooler if his head is facing the forward direction. And he, again, is going to fit in very snugly. He's not falling out because he is on that one stud, which is very good as well. And then you can also get him out very easily because he is only on one stud. So it's very easy to pull him out. Not very easy to get him to just fall out, which is kind of what you want there. So I like what LEGO has done with that. And then, of course, on both sides of the ship, you have these stud shooters with the green studs. You do get extra studs in the set. I think I got like 5 extras, so if you lose 1 or 2, no big deal. Anyway, the way to shoot them is to just push down on the gray bit here, and they'll shoot off. You can hear them there. And to reload them, as you probably do know, you just put it right on back in. The downside of stud shooters, of course, is that some people kind of think they're ugly, so if you wanted to remove them, you could totally do so. It would just kind of need to be slightly remodeled here to kind of add in back some weapons here that are just in all black as opposed to the stud shooters, so you'd have to find kind of a replacement for that, but it's totally doable. It's just that some people don't like the way stud shooters look. I kind of agree, but I usually just tend to leave it as LEGO makes it. So 10 years made quite a large difference for LEGO with these two sets. Of course, on the left we have the 2008 model, and on the right we have the 2018 model. You can see just in the very front here, they've changed up the design. They went with the sticker design about 10 years ago, and now they've gone with a flat yellow design, which I think looks better, although I did kind of misapply the stickers a decade ago, so maybe that has something to do with it. Moving on more to the center of the ship, they've added the stickers here, which I think look really nice, as opposed to no stickers here, which looks a little bit less nice than these do. I think the general design of this as they get into the center area with the cockpit and R2-D2 looks a lot better on the newer version. That's no surprise. I think we could definitely expect to see those kind of improvements on a ship's design. Of course, we have the stud shooter on the newer set, which is nicer for playability, less nice for displayability. And on the older set, we have these Technic pieces, which again are nicer for displayability, but of course you lose that playability of the stud shooter. Taking a look at the backside of both ships, you'll see that the fin on the backside of the older set is just a flimsy panel with a big sticker on it. Of course, the newer one is a big panel, kinda, but it can actually hold up the ship, as opposed to this one, which is just literally held in by a clip, so it will totally just fall out. So you kind of can't pick it up by the fin, otherwise it'll just break the fin off. But the new one has a very sturdy design there. You can see the Republic insignia on the side. Same deal here, just kind of different designs as the years have gone on. With the engines in the back, of course, the older version, a much simpler engine design, as opposed to the newer version, again, which has that black design with the green in the back, which I think looks very nice, kind of gives that idea of proportion. You'll see this little blue bit here, and that's kind of a feature with R2-D2 that we don't see on the newer ship. So R2-D2 on the newer ship just kind of sits in there. He doesn't really do much. You can't get him out unless you pull him out. But on the older ship, there's actually a device or a mechanism where if you push in that blue bit in the back that I showed you guys, it'll actually push R2-D2 up. You can pull him out. But the main idea is really to get him to fly out if you hit it really hard. And I kind of missed it there. Let's try to reset again. But if you hit it really hard, he'll come flying out, which is a really awesome feature in my opinion. I think that's a very solid one. It adds some playability to the set that otherwise wouldn't be there. So you can get them to kind of pop out and fly out of the ship. Very, very awesome little feature that LEGO did include right there. Of course, the canopy for the cockpit on the older version is a much blockier design as opposed to the new one, which is very nice and rounded. Of course, we like the way that looks. Not quite as big a fan as the old one, and just the overall general design of the thing, other than the landing gear, I would say, on the bottom, which is better on the older version because you had 3 points as opposed to the 2 points on the newer one, which allows it to fall over very easily. The old one is not falling over in any direction, which is awesome. Of course, again, the newer one really has that issue, the older one does not. And there's a couple of flick-fire missiles on the underside, so I guess that's a playability equal to the stud shooters, I guess, but it's a little bit more hidden, which is nice. It's not as prevalent when it's on display, so if that's something you care about, that's definitely something to consider if you're really considering picking between these two models. Although I think the choice is obvious that you should buy the 2018 version over the 2008 version. But let me give you my final thoughts on the 2018 version. One of the questions I see most often when I'm hosting a live stream or for Ask MandRproductions is, are we going to get more Clone Wars sets? And the answer is always yes. They're always going to remake stuff from older movies or TV shows, and this is no exception. This is another Clone Wars set. People keep asking me again, when are we going to get more Clone Wars sets? Well, now. We just got one. We got one earlier this year. We got some last year. Like, it happens, you know, every wave or so right now as it is in 2018. I'm sure it'll be more common in 2019 when the Clone Wars does come back on Disney. This is an excellent model. For $20, 247 pieces, you get the iconic Anakin Skywalker and R2-D2 minifigures updated and upgraded. Of course, it retains the same price point as the model from 10 years ago, and it's basically just a major upgrade from that model, so there's nothing wrong with the price at all in this set. You get a great design. The playability is kind of where I'm lost. There really isn't a killer feature like there was on the 2008 model where you could have R2-D2 pop up and fly out of the model. All you can really do with this one is open the canopy, shoot your stud shooters, and then drop the landing gear. Not too much to do other than just kind of fly around with it and play with another spaceship in your collection maybe. Other than that, it's just going to look great on display. Anyway, guys, if you guys have any questions for me, leave in the comments section down below, and either I or another fellow commenter will get back to you. If you're new to the channel, of course, subscribe so there's more of my future LEGO videos, as well as check out my other LEGO Star Wars Summer 2018 set reviews. And if you did enjoy the review, give it a like. It would be greatly appreciated and help the channel. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.